Well, good morning. How is everyone doing today? No, I don't record these on my lunch hour. I record these on when I first get to work. So, last night, I made the video on Palworld versus Nintendo or Pokemon at this point. That's going to be an absolute insane lawsuit. Of course, we got lights. That's going to be an insane lawsuit. We're going to be seeing a lot of people covering that today. And if not, my video probably gets suppressed because of it. And I'm not too worried about it because this is something that I've covered in the past, and I'm pretty sure I've got a good grasp on what's going on in that situation. Obviously, talking about that, there's a lot of details that I just can't go over because we don't know a lot of the details. I know a lot of the lawyers are already looking into it that generally do things online, so I will have to wait and see what they digress from it and continue on that scenario. As for what's going on, Friday night, we're going to be doing another live stream. I'm going to be in VRCHAT again. We're going to be enjoying ourselves. But talking about VRCHAT, last night, after I made the video, I uploaded all this other stuff. I had a little bit of free time, and I noticed there was a event going on, and I was able to hop into that fairly early, which I am glad I got into that event a little bit early, because once it started filling up with people, the insaneness of running this type of game on your computer with the headset hooked up to it. I know there's a couple things I could have done here. I don't necessarily have to be hooked up to my computer to run certain things. So I know if I had disconnected from my computer, I would have been able to run it a little bit better. But ultimately, when you have VRChat, it is insanely poorly optimized worlds that will bog down your system. This is absolutely insane. If anyone thinks what we see in video games for the poor optimization, when you get into a world that has been poorly optimized, and then you start adding in more and more people, it starts to get to a point where you're like, oh my God, I can't even run this. And you start walking around with your headset and you start seeing the lagginess, and you turn to the side and you see blackness, and you're like, oh, this isn't good. And that's because it's going off the hardware of a machine, where if you run it strictly on your headset, it's a lot better in that sense. And I gotta say, it was something else. I was there early, so, I got to chat with a few people early, and it's a lot of fun being able to chat with people in cyberspace like that. And I have to say, it's absolutely fantastic to do things like that. If you haven't seen the video that I put up yesterday saying it's amazingly fun just to be a part of the community and be a part of these events that happen, it's something else. And you know what? That's what I'm doing Friday night. I'm going to be in VRChat. We're going to have the Plague back again, because he has become a very, very good friend online. And I think he understands that I am a little bit lost when it comes to whatever is going on in VRChat, just trying to learn the basics at this point. And it's a lot of fun. We have stories. I have stories to tell. They have stories to tell. And it's just a series of listening and enjoying each other's just storytelling, and just being able to sit there and chat for hours on end is absolutely something that I was missing in my life. And last night, there was a lot going on. Like I was being pulled in each direction because there was 3 or 4 different streamers in the instance that we were in, and they were all streaming on their own channels. But then you get the crossover of it, and you just sit there and you go, this is insane. How many people are coming together as a community, and how many people are just there to vibe and just to have fun and just say, hey, listen, it's a random Wednesday night. Everyone's just enjoying themselves. And so, I went through and friended a lot of people just so I can finally be able to reach out and be able to speak to the community a little bit more in that sense. So it was a lot of fun in that sense. But there is some things that I sit there and I go, okay, I have no clue what I'm looking at right now. I am not sure what's going on, and I know people are just enjoying themselves, and so I don't want to interrupt any of those things and just start asking questions, because I am not sure how to even approach some of the stuff that I see, or some of the topics that get discussed during some of these streamers, and I just sit there. I'm like, okay, cool. It sounds like you guys are having fun, and I'm just going to leave it at that, because I don't know where a lot of the stuff that happens behind the scenes. I'm not privy to it, because that's not me. It's cool and all to be in the avatar to pick up the furry fandom, and I think that's an absolutely fantastic side of things, and I'm just enjoying myself in that sense. And to each their own. To each their own. There's certain things that I just sit there and go, well, okay, yeah, I can see it, and I'm going to move on from that and just let things be. But it's at the same time, I don't even know how to approach the topic at this point. And I just sit there. I'm like, okay, cool. You guys are having fun. Like, that's where it is. Nothing crazy happens in these things because a lot of streamers are in there. But I got to say, when you're walking around and it's filling up, there's 30, almost 40 people in an instance now. And now you're moving from one area to the other, and it becomes a challenge to move around in these instances when there is that many people. There's settings that you can lower, but there's some of these worlds, when you get this many people in a world like this, and the person that made the world didn't optimize it, there's certain things you got to turn off. There's a lot of things that you sit there and go, okay, this is too much, this is too much. They're beautiful worlds that you go into, but when you get so many people in there, it just bogs down these systems, and it's not cool. I watched a couple people getting DC'd from it, having to relog, having to reset their systems, and it doesn't make for a fun time, because I have been there. I have been in the frustration trap with video games, with a lot of things online. And when you sit there and you have to sit there and figure out the optimization, you got to do other things, and it really sucks. And, I got to say, one of the top things for any of the streamers, if any of them ever watch this, they probably won't, but if any of the streamers are using Streamlabs, drop it. Drop Streamlabs right now, because that is part of your optimization issue. Streamlabs has an overlay, and that overlay bogs down your computer systems, and that will, it takes away the optimization part of being able to stream and being able to do things. I learned this a long time ago. I moved over strictly to OBS, and I'm using certain plugins in OBS instead of running Streamlabs, because Streamlabs runs so heavily in the background on your computer system. It's taking up the needed resources for certain optimization of these things. And that is one of the biggest tips I can give anyone that is new to streaming or wants to stream certain games. Don't use Streamlabs. Use the plugins through OBS instead. And OBS is the same thing. The only difference is Streamlabs has this convenience of being able to do certain things in it very easily, but OBS can do the exact same thing. All you got to do is copy a URL link and put it into OBS instead of running it in Streamlabs. That's the only difference. And because of that, because Streamlabs is much the same way as like running Steam in the background, or Discord. Steam, Discord, and Streamlabs are the three biggest hardware things on your system. If you were running those in the background and you're having optimization problems, those are the first three things you should look at stopping running in the background, because it's going to increase your performance and increase your optimization right off the bat on your system end. If you're running like a full out decked out system, you should not have problems, but that doesn't mean that you won't. So that's where that goes. Anyway, I'm going to sign off here. Have yourselves a great day. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I am your proud Canadian Phoenix Cindershadow, and I will see you again very soon. Friday night is fast approaching.